All right, thank you. Appreciate you.
All right. Well, I didn't see him.
Yeah, no, I didn't. People supposed to look and check in the dumpster area over there, and so
Yeah,
I don't know,
it's
I
messed
don't
up.
want him to hurt himself.
While crawling around on the propane tank, I wouldn't worry about too much, but I definitely worry about the sign. There's sharp edges on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, him crawling around on that's definitely a safety issue. I figured if you're gonna walk it, I'll walk with you.
Those aren't made to carry any weight. So they're flimsy, so you climb up on it, and plus there's, mossy, algae, you slip and you get hurt.
Yeah, and then radiolarians and protozoans, and then there's the fact that it's Oregon, so everything's wet, so it's a great place for everything like that to grow.
Yeah.
On the bright side, it's not like it's difficult to tell what chemicals he's on or how he's likely to react while on those chemicals. Plus, everybody here knowing who he is and knowing about him makes it a little easier on him, because most people would have done things a lot differently. They wouldn't have given him them chances.
Yeah. I'm the type. I hope the best for everybody. I'm a firm believer in what you look for, you will find. If you look for the good in people, you'll find it. If you look for the bad, you'll find it.
Yep.
It's what you look for.
I've also found that if I keep on looking for the good in rotten people, I can find good in them, but they're still going to do rotten things.
Absolutely. but you're right. You still find the good.
Well, I understand the whole, that being Jaden's friend and all that. And the guy's talked to me a couple of times. He's never been threatening towards me or anything like that. So he's never been threatening towards me or anything like that. So I'm not too worried about anything like that happening. But I figured since you're a position of authority and you came outside, somebody ought to walk out with you.
Yeah. Like he, when I walked through, outside, he was like, you're going to get yours. I didn't take it as threat of him threatening me or, just it was the ramblings of someone who was
Hurting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed you were trying to talk to him like a person, and even when you came out, you seemed more like you wanted to talk to him to make sure he was okay than to say, hey man, I'm gonna beat your ass if you ever come into Denny's again.
That's not me. That's not who I am.
I figured that out. If you were like that, I wouldn't have come back to the Denny's. I'd probably be in a ditch somewhere. Well, thank you, Mr. Mike.
No problem.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna smoke a cigarette out here since we're not allowed to smoke indoors anymore. Yeah, it's not a issue of anybody being violent or anything. It was, you don't go into a establishment all fucked up and want to take part in something that ain't there for you anymore. I knew that Natalie and Alicia Bollinger weren't there for me anymore when I was in Virginia, and they were embarrassed, so I left. But this feller here at the small town, it would have been like being friends with Matt Worley back in the day before he was all strung out on meth. Just different people. I didn't know Natalie before the drugs. When I met her, she was about 13 or 14. Well, I didn't exactly meet her. I knew of who she was. Her and her sister used to come down with Maddie Boa, and they used to try to hang out with Derek Parrish, and Derek Parrish was 17, 18 at the time, and he was hanging out mostly with his mom, Janine. She's one of the dead. There's a lot of people dead in this situation. There's no animosity here tonight. There was a very uncomfortable situation earlier where it got loud. One of the people here, this gentleman who was supposed to leave, he'd been 86'd from the place a few times before because he comes in all messed up, wanting to wanting to take up 20 to 30 minutes of one of the employees' time. A very specific employee, and he's moved past that in his life. Or trying to, anyway. You know, relapse happens. There's also the part where your life together and you think that's your one thing that's able to keep you going well enough to get the ends met. I had a friend of mine named Donnie. He lived in Boulder, Colorado. And he was a glass blower. A very good glass blower. He was trained by a Milano glass blower, which is some pretty famous glass. Problem is, he was a meth addict, and he sucked more glass than he blew. Donnie's the same guy that wanted to give me a .22 long rifle to go shoot whoever it is that made my sister disappear back in 2012. Well, guess what? We found my sister. She was safe and nobody got shot. Also, I didn't even make it out of the state with that firearm before burying it because I didn't want nothing to do with the goddamn thing. Tonight, it wasn't an issue of any animosity towards the man. It was more of a, he's really, really fucked up and he's crawling around on shit. And the way that other employee confronted him, it was kind of, well, it was very confrontational, and it was very much a situation where 3 or 4 people all had to stand up and try to deal with the situation as adults. And unlike situations where the police are involved at that point, where they generally antagonize the situation, everybody who is here tonight handled it as an adult. Despite their own emotions on it, they chose to act as adults. So, something to be said for that. I guess I got all these Mountain Dew bottles. I gotta start drinking some Mountain Dew, huh? That's pretty good for them. It's the Code Red. Anyway, you know, I like to keep recording after a situation happens because sometimes people come back. Oh, there they are. The cops were called, but not as a matter of trying to have any harm brought to the man. It was more a situation where he was going to get himself hurt. Sliding off of the propane tank. I suppose you could hit your head falling off of it backwards. It is a pretty big propane tank. It's pretty big. But it's not like man-size tall. It's not one of them things that he's going to fall off of and for surely hurt himself. Whereas the signs, yeah, like Mike was saying, it's flimsy. It's not meant to take the weight of a human being. Ugh. Fuck. God damn it. I don't want to smoke my tobacco out of a pipe. This sucks. Where the hell did I put my fucking rolling papers? I got to talking too goddamn much. That's what my problem is. I got 7 extra holes in me. You know how I ended up with 7 extra holes in me? Running my goddamn mouth. Yeah, I could say I was sticking up for people, but really I was just running my mouth. All them extra holes in me, I got them all for running my mouth. I could have defused the situation, but chose to run my mouth. Could have done the intelligent thing, but I wanted to act tough and sound tough and run my fucking mouth. One thing I always been good at is running my goddamn mouth. You know what? Nobody died. That means it was a good night. Somebody should buy a Mega Millions lottery ticket.
When are they picking?
I don't know. I don't gamble.
When did it start getting?
Well, it's at like 1.2 billion now. So if you win, you could buy yourself a whole new family, a whole new town.
A whole new life?
I don't know about a whole new life. I kind of like the one I got.
Shit.
I'm so full of shit. My eyes are brown. I got a few
project on the table I'm working on. I guess I could show you the physics of it. Alright, this is kind of how plywood works. You got the grain going in the same direction. Makes it pretty bendable, pretty easy to bend. But if you turn one of them sideways, then the grains are going in opposite directions. And then it doesn't like that. I saved my popsicle sticks at Starbucks. Since I don't have the ability to get expensive modeling stuff, I suppose just pretend each one of these is a plank of wood. And I can make some pretty cool stuff with it. And each one of these has an intended purpose towards something that's intended to be pretty cool. Actually, this is one of the cooler ones. Goes right along the same lines as this. Extendable. Along the same concept. I always like the idea of making things lightweight and compact. It's right here. You know, it's able to be folded up pretty small. But it can also be popped out. And I got a piece that's round that goes right here. And a little strap that goes from right here to right here. That way it'll actually hold it round so it can be used as a boat. There's also the draw cords for the front and the rear that I haven't put on there yet. So that it goes from being flat like this to popping open and folding up in a matter of 2 to 3 seconds. I don't like that camping gear where it says you can set it up in 30 seconds and 5 minutes later you're still pulling the shit out of the bag trying to figure out where the part's missing. Kind of the ultimate idea behind this is that right here and right here there's going to be shoulder straps. Sorry. Right here and right here, shoulder straps, so that it's like a backpack. You can put your backpack here. And then when you pop it open, well, I guess the backpack wouldn't be on that side, would it? But it could be, and that's where the using the waterproofing materials works out. I wouldn't personally want it to be on the bottom, but also this is a section for showing a specific type of bend that's in it and the way that it helps to fold it up, but also the way that it helps to straighten it out, because when you've got it straight like this and you try to bend it this way, you get a little bit of an arch in it, but not much. Whereas the other way, you've got a full hinge. Also, once you have it turned like this, that gives it structural stability so it doesn't want to do that anymore. Now, this is obviously not done with great materials. It's not done all perfectly lined up and sanded out, and there's some rough edges that make it so it doesn't fit all perfect. But it's well enough to illustrate the concept and the idea. Once I have all the pieces together, it ought to look pretty cool. My 3 motivators for this. One of them is the Royal Vasa ship. One of them is the Khufu ship. Vasa is V-A-S-A. Khufu is K-U-F-U or K-H-U-F-U. And The third ship is also based on the Vasa, believe it or not. It's called Silent Mary. That's kind of the concept behind this. The ship looked very bare bones, didn't it? Like it was missing most of its parts. There was a lot of spaces in between. So all my ideas all go together into, I guess, my magical world of Sean. Although it's not really magic, it's physics. And there's a lot of really fun stuff you can do with physics as long as you get the education. I really should make a full video about the Khufu ship, as well as do a full video on the Lake Nemi ships and probably the ones on the Rhine River. River boats are pretty important. But one of the concepts behind it is the idea that you can make an external hull, and then you can basically just set some bars across the top. And then once you've set the bars across the top, you can here, give me a second. Ago it was hot heart hands. I don't know what that means. When you set your phone down, the signal started fading. Oh, you're back. The video keeps replaying. I'm not sure what to say about that. Hopefully it's working. I guess I'm gonna end the video. I was gonna. Oh yes, the Khufu ship. This actually does go along with the Vasa as well, just because of the layering. It's like an ogre. It's got layers. All right, so we start off with. Oh, come on now. There we go. This is that piece I was messing with at the beginning. When I first showed it to you, had streamer container and this in it to hold it to make it round. It's no longer a round shape, obviously. Now if we take that, and this right here is another one, basically what the Egyptians did is they would tie the hull together and then they would stack some planks across it. Staggered. Kind of like this. So if you can imagine, it would be basically you've got one boat hull, and then you've got another boat hull that sits on top of it. And that's actually kind of how the Egyptians built their boat, especially the Khufu. Lots of space in between the two, but no nails. The Vasa, they used some pretty nails. I suppose on the Khufu ship, there's a little house kind of thing put on it. So I guess it would be more like that there. But the point is, each and every one of these has a piece to go to a. Basically, I attach stuff to my kayak. My kayak is 12 feet long, 11 foot long, something like that. And I want it to be able to fold out, make it look like
20 to 25 foot long pirate ship. But of course, it'll all be, well, lightweight stuff. It'll just be basically some plastic with structural stability to it, just to give it its shape. But it's not going to be something that's going to be functional like it's a sail. More like well, think of it more like a mirage or an illusion. It's not going to fool anybody up close. Let's see. Lucky Reed type. It's working. Stupid internet blah. It's working perfect now. Why is my phone not taking screenshots? Must be full. Oh, now it's doing it. Stupid internet blah. It's working perfect now. Whoa, that is so cool. You're so cool. Love it. How did you learn how to do that? Only wood. What are the wood around wooden pieces? These are all popsicle sticks, but I'm using them because it's the trash that I have to work with. I do have bigger stuff on my car to do kind of the same thing with, but it doesn't have to be made out of wood. Like I said, I'm only going to be making something that looks cool. Anyway, I'm going to end this video because I got to pee. And because it doesn't look like there's going to be any more issues. Good to be with you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Oh, here's, I guess, some more of my studies. This is a Beaver Midget submarine. There's a part in here on propulsion, a part in here on safety. That way I can kind of organize my ideas, work on them a little bit at a time. Night, night, heart, 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 love listening to you. Well, thank you, Lucky Re9. Good night. Good to be with you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind.